Get a little acceleration here. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a Ford Bronco Badlands with the Sasquatch package, aka the most desirable version of the new Ford Bronco. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Kengar Ford here in American Fork, Utah for giving me some time with this Bronco. This one is available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below. If you have any questions, just ask for Kellen. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.7 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. It's good for about 330 horsepower and then 415 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 17 around town and then 17 on the highway with this Sasquatch package. So let's go to the front end of the Badlands. First off, this one's finished in cactus gray, which I think is a really cool color on the new Bronco. And you guys can see the mirrors are actually mounted on the body so that you can take off the doors and still have mirrors. Now, these bad boys have a max load of 150 pounds if you guys are wondering for anything you're gonna set up with those. And then you can see here with the LED daytime running lights, and then with the headlights, we got the white Bronco logo with a camera there in the front, or rather in the center of the logo. Parking sensors here on the bumper, you guys can see with the tow hooks, and yep, we got some hardcore bumper action, skid plate protection underneath, 11.5 inches of ground clearance, pretty solid. So coming around the side here, we've got 35s wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and the rear. If you guys are wondering, the setup is 315 by 70 by 17. These are beadlock capable wheels, which is pretty cool if you want to do some hardcore off-roading. We do have independent front suspension, and then as part of the Sasquatch package, we get these Bilstein position-sensitive shocks. You guys can see here with the fender flares, and then notice with our Badlands Sasquatch badge there, rock rails here on the side, and you know, even a few years after launch, this thing still looks so cool. So here's our key fob. It's literally a normal Ford key fob, says Bronco on the back. We have our unlock function, lock, and then remote starts, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, popping inside here, we've got this hydraulic assist. So you press it, it's got one compression point, and you press it again, it's got another compression point, and then it pretty much fully opens. And then we've got the window you can open up. And storage space back here is fantastic. I love how we've got the roll cage here, just like you have with the Wrangler, where it's all painted and everything. And then if we actually pick this up, yeah, got some extra stuff, like your little oil filler right there. But anyways, pop that down. And then this is definitely pretty easy to close as well. There you go. Now let's finish things up with the rest of the rear. First off, I love the taillights here on the Bronco with the turn signal. It's pretty cool with the overall integration. And then you guys can see with the parking sensors there at the bottom, we do have a recovery hook as well. And then the spare is also a 35 with a beadlock capable wheel. Camera there in the center of the spare. And that's the rear. Now I love the interior on this particular one. You guys can see here we've got like the gray trim, and then on the padding as well, got some orange accenting. And then this one has the vinyl seats, which again, notice with the orange stitching, and I love the padding with the seats. Now the Bronco does have what's called stadium seating, so the back seats are a little bit higher than the front seats, and what that does is, makes it so that we can see what's happening out on the front. And you guys can see you've got window controls here in the center, outlets, still no vents here in the back. And we do have some insulation here at the top, which is pretty cool. Let's head to the front. So here is the front door panel. Again, you've got that same gray trim, and then down below with the padding. And then here's a quick look at the mirrors. They do have blind spot monitoring. And then again, a little orange here on the netting. And something I'm actually interested to see is how much this bad boy weighs. So we have a front gross vehicle, there we go, gross vehicle weight rating of 6,180 pounds, 918 pounds of payload. So this weighs just over 5,000 pounds. And then here are the seats. Again, you got the Bronco logo there. And then you guys can see with the stitching, and then look at the padding down below, and then more of the stitching. And then all of your adjustments, they are manual with this one. Quick look at the pedal layout, and then you got stuff for like the parking brake, the light controls, and then our Bronco grab handle again with more of that orange. And let's pop in. So here is our steering wheel for the Badlands. You guys can see, nice soft touch all around, and then you got the stitching there on the center portion. Some controls for the center stack, voice command controls. We do have adaptive cruise control with this and steering assistance, pretty crazy. Turn signal / windshield wiper stock, and there's the steering wheel. Now here's a gauge cluster. So you guys can see we've got the analog speedo, and then we do have that screen there, which will show us different bits of information. So you guys can see this one's been averaging 16 miles per gallon so far. But that's not the cool part. Well, the off-road stuff is the cool part. The cool part is the GOAT modes that go over any terrain. So we've got a normal, eco, slippery, mud ruts, sand, Baja, and then we have a rock crawl mode, and I love the animations for it. In my experience, driving a lot of different Broncos, normal mode is just great for everyday driving, and then basically Baja mode. Just kidding. I mean, you could use the other modes, but like I found with Ford, just pop it in Baja mode. If you need the lockers, do the lockers yourselves, and there you go. Speaking of lockers and off-road tech, we've got the stabilizer bar disconnect, which I will show you guys in today's video. We have a front and a rear locker you can do independently, trail turn assist, stability control, and then hazard lights. And then we've got the big 12-inch display. So first off, if we pop in reverse, backup camera, trajectory lines, turn the steering wheel, and you got the bird's eye view. And notice all of the different viewpoints here. And if I actually put it into park and pull up the camera, you can do that again. Now, if you do have it in 4-wheel low, you can do like a trail camera where it has like the tire treads on the camera, which is pretty cool. As the rest of the screen, you have like the shortcut bar here on the side, basically, which lets you go into different menus there pretty easily. So like I can do off-road status if I want. And then you have the main thing, another shortcut bar here down below. And overall, really good infotainment system, easy to use, and that's all. We've got some analog controls for like the radio, camera system right there, as you can see, in the auto stop start. And then we do have a dual zone climate system. I don't know why the heated steering wheel is on. It's hot today. Heated seats, heated steering wheel. And then you guys can see here, we've got a little outlet situation there. And then this one has a wireless phone charging pad as well. Love how it says Bronco there. And then here's the shifter for the 10-speed automatic. And then this is our drive mode select. So you twist the dial to change the drive modes, and then the drive line is on top. This has everything including 4-wheel auto and 4-wheel low, and then that's your off-road cruise control basically. Couple cup holders. We've got some window controls here in the center, mirror adjustments, and then normal center console, and then glove box and Bronco logo there. I love like the coloration there on the dash and then the vent and all that. And then last but not least, just like most of Ford's products that have auxiliary switches, we have 6 of them. So you can add a million different light bars to this. And then again, we've got the top insulation. You can take off this with just these latches. The back, you do have to use tools. So here's a quick look at the original window sticker for this. So this obviously doesn't reflect current pricing on this, but this is just original pricing. So this was a 334A equipment group, and it looks like it's pretty loaded up. I mean, it's got all the stuff that you'd want to have. But anyways, total original MSRP was $61,490. Let's see how it drives. Now, before we get into the official driving, I am going to do some mall crawling here with the Bronco. So, you guys can see we've got the camera up here, and we're going to climb up onto the curb here. So, okay, so we are on the curb. I'm going to put it into park. And the reason that I have this in park, sorry, that was really close to my face, is so I want to show you guys the stabilizer bar disconnect. So you guys can see there's a slight difference, right? Because we're on this little curb. So all I have to do is just pop in and press this button here. It says it'll reconnect over 20 miles per hour. And now it is disconnected. It's literally like instantaneous with the action on it, but it gives us a little bit more articulation. And so now you guys can see, I know this is not the best example, but it's a lot more even than it was before. And another thing is, just like the Wrangler, when you have the sway bar disconnected with that, you do definitely have a smoother ride quality. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors just do a blind spot monitoring. And throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. Off in the Bronco Badlands, aka the King of Broncos. I know some people are gonna be like, Ben, what about the Bronco Raptor? Well, as cool as the Bronco Raptor is, I don't think it's the best Bronco for most people because of the sheer size of it, right? It's as big as an F-150. Well, it weighs as much as an F-150. And on top of weighing as much as an F-150, it's as wide as a Raptor, right? Because it's a Bronco Raptor. And so, yeah, it's not necessarily like the most user-friendly for, I guess what I would think, actually that does not help at all. What I would think would be the average like Bronco consumer, I suppose. It's not gonna, especially like if you live on the East Coast, all those tight trails are not gonna work for something like that. You know, out west here, we've got a little bit more space, so it works, but let's focus more on this Badlands package. So first off, the 2.7 definitely, it's got some pep in its step. That's for sure. It gets up and moves. Now, something that I do like about the Bronco from a driving perspective is it drives pretty car-like. So like it's still like it's high up, you know, so you have that king of the road feel when you're driving it around. And you know, it does feel like a substantial, like it feels like a truck-like vehicle, but like the independent front suspension means that the handling's really good, turn-in's great, and you can actually kind of feel what's happening with the steering. Can't say the same for Wrangler. And it feels light on its feet. Again, that's a big difference between this and the Bronco Raptor. Like the Bronco Raptor, oof, man, that thing it's a beast, but it is so heavy. Now, I actually drove a Bronco Raptor down the same road, and I want to see if there's any benefit to the Bronco Raptor on road over this. So I'm going to go over this bump. By the way, that was my tripod, so don't worry about that. So yeah, there is literally no suspension benefit to the Bronco Raptor over this on road. Because going over that like dip, when I went in the Bronco Raptor, I feel about the same amount in this as I do in the Bronco Raptor. The difference is the Bronco Raptor has way more travel than this, so like if it was a bigger bump, then that's where this would, you know, start to bottom out, whereas the Bronco Raptor would still have a little bit more to go. And so yeah, it's the more I drive Broncos, the more I review, the more I realize, like, yeah, this Badlands package with the Sasquatch is really, I think it's really the sweet spot. Because again, you get all the cool off-road tech, you get the stabilizer bar disconnects, you get the lockers, you get, if you get this with, and you don't have to get this with the Sasquatch, by the way, you can get this with 33s if you don't need the extra ground clearance, and you'd actually get your Bronco faster if you don't get the Sasquatch. But if you do get the Sasquatch, then you also get the Bilstein position sensitive shocks, so that gives you the high-speed off-roading ability, rather, high-speeding. That was the dumbest thing I've said all today. That was literally 2 dumb things in a row. I can't talk. So, continuing along, the point that I'm trying to make is this basically gives you the high-speed capability of the Wild Track, and it gives you, you know, the crawling capability that you'd expect out of a Bronco. Now, we're actually gonna get our little acceleration here. Yeah, it's quick. Here's the thing is, because this weighs so much less than the Raptor, this feels about as quick as the Bronco Raptor. Like, I don't really perceive a huge difference in terms of like what you actually feel as a driver with the acceleration. So just take that into account too. So yeah, summing things up, I kind of already like talked about a lot, but I think this package looks great. Obviously the Badlands isn't the easiest to get because the wait times are pretty long. There's some people that still haven't gotten theirs and they ordered these like, you know, when the Bronco was announced. But it's still easier to get than a Bronco Raptor, and it's a lot less expensive. I mean, even the marked up prices of a, like, if you pay full marked up price of a Badlands, you're still at like the MSRP of a Bronco Raptor, and the markup price of a Bronco Raptor right now is like $130,000. So yeah, this is just such, it's a much better value. It makes sense for like 99% of people, even those that off-road. This makes more sense. The only case that I can make for the Bronco Raptor is if you live in a place like Utah where you have wide open desert, where you can actually take advantage of the long travel suspension that has. Otherwise, yeah, I think that this is the Bronco to go for. That's gonna sum things up with our video on this Bronco Badlands with the Sasquatch package. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Kengar Ford here in American Fork, Utah for giving me some time with this Bronco. Check out the info in the description down below. Ask for Kellen if you have any questions. I'll see ya.